How's it going, everyone? My name's Taki, and this is the final episode of the Maxing series. We're kicking things off with some disassembling right now. I need to finish 3 skills in this episode to be able to max. Those skills are Woodcutting, Invention, and Agility. Right now you can see that we're just doing some disassembling of shield bows to be able to tick off 97 Invention. And with this, I should be able to use my Extreme Invention Potion and discover one new thing and get the XP bonus from that, as you've seen me do numerous times in this series. So let's go head over to the Invention Guild. Unfortunately, I've been doing this a lot, so there is only going to be one thing that I can make, which is the Partial Potion Producer. I already have 2 Alchemizers in the distance right now, and I don't plan on switching those out, so this won't get used apart from the XP bonus that I'm going to get. This is something that I talked about in the last episode, but I completed the Light Within quest, primarily for the XP lamps, but also for the Sarin spells that I'm going to use to be able to crystallize Acacia trees to be able to get 99 woodcutting. And before we move on, we're going to get 92 agility with one of those lamps. Now, this is the only clip that I have for woodcutting, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what I did here. Obviously, I'm doing the Acacia woodcutting with the Sarin spells at the same time. I think I also have a timer set up so that way every single time I crystallizes over, I can refresh it. On top of doing Acacia trees, I also did the Evil Tree FC at the same time that I was also training on my other account. I only have this one clip from woodcutting. You're going to see woodcutting come up again later on in this episode. It wasn't intentional getting 99 when I actually did. I was planning on doing all 3 at the same time, but you'll hear about that later on. In all, though, it definitely was worth getting the Light Within quest done so that way I could do this with the Sarin spells. Before this, I was only using the Evil Tree bonus that deposited the logs into the bank, and it was a really slow process, which is why my woodcutting was lagging behind a couple of other skills. Another bonus from doing this was the fact that I could get some XP on my hatchet, and I used that to siphon for Invention experience, which I also needed in this episode. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough experience from getting 99 woodcutting with Invention to be able to get 99 Invention, so I had to come back with some gear that I had. I had some God Wars 2 armor from the last episode that I didn't get to disassemble, and I'm planning on disassembling that for some components. I also have a Dragon Rider lance that I'm planning on siphoning. And although this wasn't that bad, you essentially want to get to this spot that I'm at right now. You can use some aggression potions if you want to. If you have a Vampirism Scrimshaw, you can use that too, but I have Soul Split, and Soul Split will keep you topped up. The experience that I was getting was around 500k an hour, which was really nice. At the same time I was doing this, I was also working on my other series, so I wasn't really paying too much attention to this. I just knew that I needed to put in around 3 to 4 hours of this, and I would have enough experience to be able to get 99 Invention. This is going to be a big rip to my plan. I did a little bit of an oopsie. There were some celebration lamps that went out with the Christmas event that they had, and I clicked on one of them, and my woodcutting level was just at the point where getting this lamp ended up getting me to 99. My original intention was to get all 3 99s at the same time, and then max for the end of the episode, so this kind of screws me over a little bit. I wasn't really aware that I was as close as I was to getting 99 woodcutting, and if I did, I wouldn't have used that lamp. I'm a little bit disappointed about this, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It just removes one of the lines that I would have broadcasted from the end of the video. I lost a recording that I had of me showcasing what I did to get 99 agility, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of explaining here in case somebody else wants to follow in my footsteps, and that's going to deal with talking a little bit about Silverhawk Feathers in the Ottoman store, so I'm going to start doing that right now. So the way this works out is you can use 80 feathers an hour, and because I'm starting at 92, the value of a feather is 690 XP to 860 XP per feather. This translates to around 55 to 68k XP per hour, but I had bonus experience for all of this, so that's going to be 110 to 137k XP per hour. This gives you an upkeep cost of 1.6 mil, so when you're thinking about how you want to use these feathers, you want to do something that's going to be earning you some income to offset that cost, and I chose to go with Prifddinas Thieving since that gives you around 1 mil loot per hour, giving you a net loss of 600k. The GE limit on feathers is 250 for every 4 hours, and my maximum needs were around 800 feathers for a day, and if I flipped the rest, which I did, that gave me a flip profit of 2 mil, and my daily net loss was lowered down to 4 mil. Now there were plenty of days that I didn't do any agility at all, so I had a big stockpile of feathers that I could flip, so my profits were a lot higher than it's shown here, but in a worst case scenario, I would be losing 4 mil every day that I would have to account for somewhere else. And the final thing that I want to talk about is the oddment store, and this is something that I think people overlook, and they really shouldn't. Taking the worst case scenario of only getting 4 keys every day and getting the lowest tier prize, which would give you 40 oddments, you're going to be able to buy 3 mil bonus experience for a skill that's around 99 if you go with the prismatic stars. I used all of my oddments to buy prismatic stars for agility, and then I used the remainder on Silverhawk down so that I could burn through some of my bonus experience, even though it's not the most efficient way of using your oddments. Make sure you take a look at this store if you haven't in a while. I had something around like 25,000 oddments, so that bought a ton of experience. Anyways, I hope that explanation helps you out if you're in the same situation that I was in. As you can see now, we are at 98 agility and we're also at 98 invention, and those are both really close to happening, so we're just going to go over to the agility course right now and finish those 2 off. If we take a look at the inventory, we can see the Dragon Rider lance that's been ready to siphon for about 2 months in my Silverhawk boots. I'm taking those off so that way I don't accidentally get a level. We're at the Prifdinous agility course right now. And we're going to do this final agility obstacle, getting 99 agility, and we're going to quickly siphon this to get 99 invention and do all 3 broadcasts at the same time. And now the only thing left to do is to go buy our cape and customize it in the Max Guild. Before we go on and buy the cape, I'm going to unfurl all the banners that I've forgotten to do and fully complete my garden minus the quest point cape, which I'm not planning on getting on this account. And let's go ahead and buy that max cape. I should have a keepsake key that I can use with this. I'm just going to attach the hood to the cape because it looks better and then use that on my keepsake. And I'm going to buy a second cape so that way I can recolor the one that's in my keepsake and use it for my general needs. Yeah, I had exactly 1 key left that I was saving for this out of a promotion that they did a long time ago where they gave you 6 keys for free. So I'm going to have that cape and I'm going to need to buy a second one so that way I can recolor this when it's inside my keepsake. Now, if you're into Fashionscape, the max capes and the capes that are higher than it are really awesome because you can customize 4 elements of it, and I'm using the all-one toolkit right now to try to grab colors from the armor that I'm using and get it to be a close match. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to get exactly what you want, so you have to fiddle around with it a little bit. Anyway, I found a color that I want. The only thing left to do is to finally plant this free crystal tree that I never was able to get when I needed it. And now I definitely don't need it with player-owned farms, but it's nice to finally have this thing out of the way. And that is going to be it for this account. I think for the future, I'm just pretty much going to AFK some money-making skills while I'm working on other series. When I was finishing off this episode, I decided to try to find my maxing video from my main account that I did back in the day, and obviously agility was one of the last skills that I had for that too, and I just wanted to take a look at the differences of maxing back then versus now and the overall reactions of it. Obviously, it's not that big of a deal to max now as it used to be in the past when it would be very rare to see anybody at all get 99, whereas now you can see people getting 99s every single day. And this really goes to show like the biggest difference that happened back then was the fact that people wouldn't expect to see somebody max. So if you maxed on their world and they got the broadcast, you would get messages from people all over. They would join your friends chat. They would be like super excited about the fact that somebody maxed. It was something that not a lot of people did. And it's definitely a completely different situation now, which is a little bit unfortunate, but you know, it comes with time. The game is a lot easier to max than it used to be, for better or for worse. But I do think that I had fun doing this series. I definitely spent considerably less time maxing on this alt that I did on my main, and that comes with all of the experience that I have from playing the game all this time, but it also becomes with the fact that the game is a lot easier to play, and you can take from that what you want. But I definitely enjoyed maxing the first time, and I enjoyed some of the aspects of maxing the second time, especially the aspects of skills that got faster that I didn't like the first time around. I liked the way that I dealt with agility. It was a lot better than how I did it back then, which was to get barbarian assault points and use them on a horn and then go train in the wilderness or train in the agility courses that nobody uses anymore. And the fun of trying to go to Varrock and find Max and buy his cape from him, that was all like really cool stuff that people aren't going to get to really experience anymore. It's something that you had to be there at that time to experience what it was like, and it was a really cool experience. Anyways, I hope you had some enjoyment watching this series, and I hope that it helped someone out there that's also trying to max, especially if you have an account from way back in the day that you haven't been able to manage to max. You can follow some of the things that I did over the course of this year to max this alt character, and a lot of what I did should still be applicable since not many things have changed. And when I started this series, I didn't really have anything in the way of 99s, so you should be able to use and improve on what I did in your quest to maxing in RuneScape 3. That's the end of this one. If you liked the video, consider dropping a like below and subscribing to the channel if you aren't already. Feel free to take a look at one of the videos on screen now, and until next time, Taki out.